Hey guys! Thank you for joining me today. I'm Tiffany from myPerfectCurl, and today we're back in the kitchen and I'm going to show you how to make my favorite milk alternative, almond milk. If you watched my smoothie video, you will know that I used almond milk as my base. Almond milk is a great alternative for people who either don't want to drink milk or are lactose intolerant. I buy processed almond milk, but there was a time when I was on a super strict diet where I had little to no processed foods, so I made my own. If you're dealing with a chronic illness or a condition that has inflammation in the body, reducing the amount of processed foods helps to give your body a break and eliminates unnecessary additives that can contribute to inflammation. People often associate milk with calcium, and store-bought almond milk is fortified, so there are actually more nutrients than you would get in cow's milk. The only thing it doesn't really compare with is protein, but most people eat way more protein than is needed, so I wouldn't worry about that. Almond milk also beats out cow's milk in the fact that it doesn't have any saturated fat, but has heart-healthy monounsaturated fat. As far as whether you use store-bought or make your own, it really depends on what your needs are, but it's worth learning this recipe so that you have the option. Making your own milk sounds difficult, but really it's super easy, so let's get started. The ingredients you're going to need are almonds, water, salt, and cheesecloth or a nut milk bag. Optional items are vanilla, which I will use as well, cinnamon, honey, and dates. First, I bought organic raw almonds. I'm not super convinced I needed them to be organic, but that's what was available in the bulk food section, so I went with it. I would definitely recommend getting your almonds in bulk if you plan on making a habit of this because it will save you a lot of money. I am using 1 cup of almonds, so I'll need 4 cups of water. So the ratio is 1 to 4. Depending on what your needs are, you can adjust the volume you buy. Just make sure to make note of the weight so in the future you can buy the accurate amount. Now, we want raw almonds because there's a better, sweeter flavor than already roasted nuts. And think about it, you'd be paying for them to be roasted, so it just makes sense to buy raw. The first step is to get a good sized container and dump the almonds into it. Then submerge them with water and about half a teaspoon of salt. The salt helps to break down the phytic acid. You want to get rid of that because it can interfere with digestion. The soak can be left on the counter overnight covered with cheesecloth or a light towel. Notice that the water is cloudy. That's what we want, but not in our drink. Once you're ready to blend, rinse the nuts well to get rid of the stuff we don't want. You can keep the water to use as water on your plants or just discard it. Place the almonds into the blender and add in your water and vanilla. Remember, you want to use half a teaspoon of vanilla per cup of almonds. Get your strainer ready over the container you will keep the milk in. Blend for about a minute. This is another reason why investing in a good quality blender is worth it because it makes this process so much easier. Once done, begin to pour the mix into the container. I like to pour a little at a time to make sure I can squeeze out as much juice as possible. The pulp can be saved for later to dehydrate, to be used for almond meal or discarded. But there are so many yummy recipes that use almond meal, and let's be honest, this stuff isn't cheap. I think it's totally worth saving. That's it, guys. Super easy. Feel free to get creative and add in different types of nuts like cashews as they go through the same process, so it's easy to make that change. After you strain the milk, you can add in a soaked date and blend again for an even sweeter and more nutrient-dense drink. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed this recipe. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite milk alternative is. Peace!